Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your boy E Money. Tonight we're gonna be addressing the Dr. Disrespect tweets that dropped recently, the long-awaited tweets, and we're probably gonna be talking about the whole Moist Critical drama as well. What's going on with that? So trickle in, trickle in. Hopefully it's a little bit livelier tonight than it was last night.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering, and on the day in which MoistKr1t1kal apparently
I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to maybe make their way in if you haven't already. Oh no. Come on.
goes on an indefinite hiatus from several podcasts after some backlash for some things that he said. Dr. Disrespect returns to the internet with a couple social media posts. It's been an absolutely wild summer.
Yes, it
The internet
has.
obviously has some thoughts going on with both of this. Obviously, this also, parallels a lot of stuff with the current Mr. Beast drama and all of that stuff. So it's wild. It's like a
Yeah. The Mr. B situation is it's not looking good, and it's also not doing Dr. Disrespect any favors as well. And then the newest news with Kai's photographer or videographer. Man, it's a PDO summer, huh?
a crazy time to be a commentator. I hope that you're enjoying the coverage, and that if you are, you'll leave a like on the video, and if you haven't yet, subscribe and follow.
Also, subscribe to my channel
unbiased and
hit the like
as I
button.
could, covering things with Dr. Disrespect, with an admitted bias that I was a longtime Champions Club member and a longtime fan. He had been, as far as everyone knew, unceremoniously fired from Twitch many years ago, only to have
I wasn't
the
following
alleged
him
reason
back
leaked
then.
by a former Twitch employee. An alleged reason is that he was sending some messages that he shouldn't have to certain individuals that he shouldn't have. Obviously, bad behavior.
Which, by the way, we still have not seen a lick of evidence for, besides his self-incriminating tweets.
Not good behavior. I don't think he would excuse it. I would hope that he wouldn't excuse it. But the internet was left with many questions, questions that we may never actually get the answer to, like, well, how bad was it? How bad were the messages? And I think the hard line is, hey, you shouldn't be messaging anyone underage. And I think that that's obviously a fine position to be. That goes for the Mr. Beast stuff. That goes for Dr. Disrespect stuff. Whether or not, I would hope that they would both agree with that. The mystery around the Dr. Disrespect stuff is that, unlike the Mr. Beast stuff, where we saw many messages and we saw many conversations had, and we had people come forward and share their stories, people are asking, well, how is this different, Jeremy? You replied to him and said, I'm looking forward to hearing your side of this, but you didn't say that about the Mr. Beast situation. Well, I didn't need to, because we saw all the messages and we knew what was going on. We saw firsthand accounts from people. And again, contacting people, again, not okay. So he posted this, and it's Dr. Disrespect playing chess. I'm playing chess. You're playing checkers. That's kind of the implication here. Basically, look. The question is, he had conversations, okay, that people could make up their mind about. He was never arrested. There was never any charges or never any meetups, as far as anyone can prove. What we do know is a woke leftist company in Twitch wants you to believe the worst possible thing because there is no other evidence. I continue to say, look, if we could see the messages and we could see them we could disavow them, and we could move forward. But maybe these messages don't even exist. Maybe an archive of these don't even exist. I don't know. Certainly, the fact that he got paid out and there were no criminal charges probably means that the individual that they were talking to never came forward. There's obviously rumors that the individual he was talking to was actually over 18 and was catfishing him. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows the truth. Full stop. Don't talk to people you shouldn't be talking to, obviously. But that leaves us with, how does Doc move forward?
I agree. I mean, if you're an adult and you find out that you're talking to somebody underage, I mean, just stop. Do yourself a favor. Just cut it off right there. There's no reason you should be having a conversation with someone, especially someone inappropriate. There's no excuse for that.
Is he supposed to leave the internet forever? He wasn't even charged with anything. He never committed a crime. Yet YouTube demonetized him. Every sponsor left him, which they're entitled to do, of course. And the internet now, every time he posts, is calling him the P word, which is obviously over the top. I wouldn't even, say that necessarily applies to the Mr. Beast situation, because at least these people were, not for. That said, people are really mad. Anybody, says anything anywhere near, not slandering him, they're all over you. I don't care. I replied to Dr. Disrespect's post and said, I'm glad you're back. I hope to hear your side of the story sooner than later. Of course, hundreds of people in that reply are having a meltdown, calling me like a P-word defender and all that. I don't care. That's not my audience. The people that are spurting out about this tweet, like Tipster and stuff like that, they don't watch my videos. Their viewers don't watch my videos. They don't look at my tweets in good faith. All I said was, look, I'm looking forward to hear your side of the story. And I would welcome Mr. Beast employee to do the same, right? I would love to see this individual come out and say, hey, look, here's what happened. Obviously, it's not okay. That's the only real way that you can move forward. Now, with the Mr. Beast situation, there's lots of evidence. With Doc, all we have is the word of some Twitch employee, and then he came out and said he did, in fact, have a conversation with somebody he shouldn't have many years ago, okay? If that is something that you think is a lifelong cancelable offense, I think you're entitled to believe that. For me, I would like to see the conversation and make my own, I think there are various degrees of where it could, get gotten out of hand. From what I understand, this person was not like, 12, okay, so that makes a difference. None of it's okay, and I'm sure Doc has come out and said all of this stuff, right? Of course, people in here, I don't know who this Dremo is, but they're relatively popular, calls him a ped, to which he says, little brainwashed woke boy putting out Dragon Ball Z graphics with Kendrick Lamar lines, got me big time. Is this you playing with someone who is too young? Good one, she, her. The internet will never fix your real threat depression. I mean, based, double based. Again, I think here you have 38-year-old Jerry Seinfeld and his 17-year-old prom date. They dated for 4 years. It was consensual. I think Dr. Dester.
Funny how nobody's going after him.
Look, a lot of these people who are jumping to calling him the P word don't like him. They're not his audience. I'd be willing to bet if he live streamed tomorrow, he would have probably his biggest stream in a very long time. And then after things settle down, he would have very similar audience size. I think that with the absence of the actual messages, I think most people are saying, look, he owned it. He came out and he apologized. He got fired. He lost his Twitch deal. He lost every other sponsorship deal. How much more do you want from the man? And the very same people who are calling him, the full-on P word would never call the Mr. Beast employee that, right? And according to logs, what that dude did was far worse. What that dude did was way worse. This is one instance that nobody's even seen or heard of, and the internet is calling him this. Is this just the majority of these people, they don't know anything about the story. They don't care anything about the story. And I think he could come back to probably be fine with that. I don't think YouTube will ever monetize him again. I think life obviously is about growing, making, we all make mistakes. I don't know if he was actually like suffering from like some sort of addiction at the time. I don't know. But what I know is that the left has not given him one single shred of the benefit of the doubt. And, they've given every ounce, they've given miles of the benefit of the doubt to the other individual who was in a similar situation. Now, I think obviously the common thread between, the Mr. Beast employee and Dr. Disrespect is that they were messaging folks they shouldn't have messaged. Now, one of them came out and said, yep, we shouldn't have done that. But that was that. So what do we do now is the question. I think that, really, unless there's, criminal charges, both of these people should be allowed to exist on social media and create videos. And then the market will decide, right? If there's a market for that Mr. Beast guy, fine, let them watch you. If there's a market for Dr. Disrespect, then fine, they should be able to watch him. I think that ultimately we're probably never going to know the truth. I think there are a lot of people who believe, you see here, no crimes are committed, nobody complained, no charges, no legality, no leaked DMs.
Yeah,
no
I'm
real
still waiting to
evidence.
see
All this hate directed at you from
evidence,
a
man.
mob of leftist scum who happily suffer
I still don't
seriously
condone what
with
his
the help
actions,
of the
but
other
where's
guy.
the evidence?
I think that
I want to
that's
see text
true.
messages.
I think that a lot of
I wanna know, was
messages,
it a boy? Was it a girl?
all these
Was he
people calling him,
catfished?
like a ped? That's obviously not what he is or what he's even been accused of doing. And all these people trying to rush to dunk on him in his comments. If I could, if I know anything about the way Twitter works, they're not his audience anyway. What they're there to do now is to essentially push him off the internet, to tell him, they didn't watch his content before, but they're there to tell him, oh, I don't watch your content. I don't want to watch your content. I'm not defending.
That's fine. You don't have to be a fan of the doc. Yeah, that's your right. I was not here for his personal shit. I was here for entertainment purposes. I enjoyed the performance that he put on. That's it. He's making a good point. A lot of these people that are saying all this hateful shit and calling him the P word, these are people that are probably most likely not fans of his and just don't like what he stands for. This hypermasculinity type of view.
The things that he's done or even things that he's been accused of doing, but we've seen no evidence, outside of him saying, look, I talked to somebody I shouldn't have. So we know that much happened. This was, 8 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, we know the guy made a mistake.
There
He
were no
fucked
charges,
up.
Nobody went to jail. The person he talked to hasn't come out and said, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, not like Chris Tyson, huh?
To come back to work.
That bullshit.
YouTube, obviously, I don't think
What a
will
freak.
monetize him, at least for a very long time. You never really know. But is that the precedent we want to set? I mean, this guy didn't commit any, he was not charged with anything. I think the same, just to talk about the double standard, I'm pretty sure the Mr. Beast guy will be fine. I'm sure they're not getting demonetized. I'm sure they're not getting deplatformed. I'm sure they're not losing sponsors, right? So if that is true, then the same should be true for Dr. Disrespect. I just think if you like his content and you want to watch his content, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. But having a meltdown in the replies, like I just said, I hope to hear your side of the story. And then people are like, oh my God, you're the worst. Like, okay, none of these people watch my content. None of these people follow me.
Man, there's always going to be somebody who's got something nasty to say. There ain't nothing you can do about that.
You know what I mean? Like, these people don't watch my content, so it shouldn't affect what I give, what I care about, or what my opinion is. These people are just mad on the internet. They weren't my audience in the first place.
Most of these people just want to, they just want to point the finger. They got nothing better to do. There's nothing going on in their own lives. So they've got to stir the pot. They need anarchy in their lives to feel good about themselves. To feel like they're doing something. They're a bunch of
You
fucking
know,
losers.
but at some point, the guy's got to live his life. You can watch his content. You don't have to watch his content. But, you know, I think to deny that there is a political angle to this is wild. I mean, obviously, people that have, you know, certain opinions about the Mr. Beast employee and their lifestyle, you know, probably went harder on him, you know, and I probably did too. But I acknowledge that. I think, again, that both people should be able to place, you know, put it all out on the table. Obviously, nobody's been arrested or charged or anything. So I don't think they should be deplatformed. Watch them, don't watch them, don't care. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
I'm interested to see if he actually comes back. Oh my god, there's season 2 of Squid Games coming out.
So here's the thing, right? Is like, I don't know if he's taking a break. So this is what he said, right?
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting.
Effective immediately, Charlie's made the decision to leave both the official podcast and Red Thread. He wants to go on an indefinite hiatus to scale back his time spent on the internet. We obviously wish him the
That's
best.
probably
for
smart.
To respect his decision, and for all to know that the show will always be open for him to drop by and talk shop should he wish to return. So the podcast isn't going anywhere, etc. He's only taking break. Yeah, that's what I said, right? He's still playing videos and streaming like usual. Yeah. Now I think that probably he probably left this podcast because like there's that one dude that was on his podcast that said a bunch of crazy shit. Like I don't really know. I don't watch the podcast. I'm not really sure. But like I heard that Kaya something like that. Like isn't that the name of Hassan's dog? But anyway, yeah, this is another one. And yeah, like I've heard it. I don't know who it is. That's what I thought. And so this dude apparently caused trouble, and I'm sure Charlie probably just doesn't want to have like at this point, right? You have all these people that are mad about like that fucking about that shit he said with Sneeko, right? About like the gender assignment surgery. And so then you've got like this other dude that's like saying weird shit on your podcast. At a certain point, man, you just gotta you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? So that's it. What's the squeaking sound? It's a weird thing from my fucking from the song. Sorry about that, bro. Like, yeah, that was weird. He made an obscene joke about taking.
I thought I was hearing shit. I was hearing that too.
I didn't actually see it. I heard it. I just read the headline. I said that's weird, and so I just was like, I mean, I didn't really have an opinion of him, right? I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to get involved with like some fucking bullshit. Doc made a tweet. Yeah, let's see the rest of this. The Sneeko thing showed that he needs to take a break. As an apologize. No, I never backtrack. I never do. Like, sometimes I'll change my mind if something new happens, right? But like overall, no, I don't like backtracking at all. But the truth is, like, I don't think Charlie. I don't know what's going on in his head. What's going on with him? I have no idea. Right? I don't want to talk to him a lot, so I have no idea. But here's really what's going on. Right? Is like people get mad about opinions that anybody is going to have, and I think that anytime that a person is doing well, everybody is out there waiting for an opportunity to make them not do so well. And this happens with me. It happens with him. It happens with anybody. It happens with Ninja. It happens with like, and you know, Miz, XQC, Kai, fucking Jinxie. People do that with anybody who's doing well. People want him to do. Mr. Beast. Oh, there's another one, right? Because now there's some criticism of Mr. Beast that's got some weight to it, right? But before, it was like, oh, he's using blind people for content. Like, get the fuck out of here. What kind of retard says that? And so the problem is that, it's the people like doing this, right? And so the only way you can do this, is that if you just go and you can't give a fuck, man. That's why being a streamer sucks mental health-wise. Being a streamer is awful for people's mental health, man. It is. It's real bad. Because, like, you got all kinds of shit going on. Like, And I'm not saying this is what's going on with Charlie. Like, as I said, I don't know. Like, I have no idea. But for both the viewer and a streamer, yeah. And so, like, that's bad. Yeah, probably. Yeah, talking to yourself for hours. Well, it's that. Here's the way I see it, right? It's that streaming, you put a lot of yourself out there. And, like, you also have to deal with people that try to read mean, like, try to type mean shit to you. People that try to, like, harm you in one way or another. People that try to do bad shit to you. All this stuff. And so you put all that together, and guess what happens? Well, it's exhausting, especially, like, you got to focus on, like, streaming and YouTube, being a content creator, there's like a focus on numbers. Whenever you have quantitative variables that define a human being's self-worth, that's never healthy, right? Whether it's money, viewer count, subscribers, or, height. You think about it, right? There's never a case where that's a good thing. And so credit rating, I mean, you just go down the list. So maintain your quality of work. Yeah, exactly. And like, so your views get more scrutiny too. Yeah, exactly. So can't imagine having millions watching a movie make. Yeah. I mean, that's just what it is. That's called life. People messing with you. Sneeko people were harassing Charlie so much he had to end his stream. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily Sneeko. I think that, like, you're just seeing. The truth is, like, you're seeing a massive backlash against a lot of, like, LGBT stuff. And I think that the primary backlash isn't against the LG or B, it's against the T. A lot of people are pushing back super hard on trans stuff, especially with kids and especially with, like, athletes, right? And so this has happened. And the reason why it's happened, I'll tell y'all why it's happened, is because for 5 years, 10 years, you were not able to say a single fucking thing that was not in that direction. And now that you can, everybody is making up for lost time. Because this is the truth is, you actually ask the amount of people that legitimately think about this shit. No, the majority of people do not support it. They do not. And you look at any opinion poll, and that's the fact. And so, whenever you make people live with their mind in a cage, that's only going to last for so long. And it doesn't matter if it's a dictatorship. It doesn't matter if it's a mental, like, you look at McCarthyism, and then what happened after McCarthyism? Well, you had the 60s with the hippies and everything. And you have things go back and forth. So you got to think about, like, Adolf was a reaction, because, like, in the 1930s and, a bit before then, after World War I, Berlin and Germany and everything, like, it was, like, Berlin, bro, like, that shit was, like, that was, like, one of the most progressive capitals in the whole world. Like, they had the first transgender assignment surgery in between World War I and World War II inside of Germany. This was like a crazy,
I didn't know
crazy
that.
thing. And so again, and the book burnings, right? They said that's whenever the Nazis burned all the fucking books. Now, did they burn the books because of what they said, or because they associated them with Jewishness and they didn't like that and they wanted all the books to be written in German instead? There's a bit of history to this. It's a little bit complicated. So both, right? But it was both, right? It was a cultural and also a it was multiple things at the same time, right? So both probably. And so you can see how shit goes back and forth. And you see it now with what MoistKr1t1kal said. If he had said that 3 years ago, everybody would have been totally okay with it. Everybody would have been like, there would have been like a bunch of tweets, celebrating it. And now there's a bunch of tweets hating on him for it. Because that's just the way it is. Because people, you gotta understand that, like, 80% of people, like, they just go with the flow, right? Like, they just say what's popular. They say what people want to hear. And the 20% or so that don't, basically fight over that market share of the 80% of people that kind of just, like, are whatever. Look at who you are, leave the kids out of it. That's what a lot of people say. And the reality is, like, that's what Nick Merckx said. Remember? People got really mad at Nick Merckx for that. And y'all, actually, that's actually a great example. Because, like, how many people think that there should be, and I'm not asking you guys, but I'm saying, like, how many people do you think in Florida think that there should be, any pride stuff in an elementary school? I bet probably less.
I agree. You should not be involving children in any of this.
right?
They're not
This
old
is
enough
a
to understand
super,
what's
super
going
low
on.
percentage of people think
They don't
true.
understand the impact
A
and the
lot of people do not
consequences
think
of,
this.
of
And
any
so
of
what
this.
happens? Nick goes out and he says something that resonates with the majority of people. Keep this in mind. The majority of people. He has the popular opinion and he gets completely unpersoned. Like, fucking, he loses brand deals. He loses his Call of Duty skin. Like, everybody is shitting on him. And I think everybody saw that. And people were like, this is enough, bro. Like, we had enough of this shit. And I think that's why people support Nick so much now. Like, I see the likes on his tweets, bro. People are out to promote him as much as they can. Yeah, he was right, though. It doesn't matter whether you think he was right or not. The point is that whenever you try to suppress a popular opinion, the only thing you have to do is wait for it to come back and bite you in the ass. That's what happens. About how minorities affect the majority? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of examples of that in history, for sure. The right wing supporting bigots is nothing new. Well, what I'm saying is that like, the right wing bigots, etc., like, that has been nerfed. It's been nerfed because the only reason why people were afraid of being called that is because they were worried about getting banned on social media. But because there's been so much of a cultural shift, that doesn't happen anymore. So nobody gives a shit. You want to call somebody a buzzword, go ahead and do it. Just don't expect them to go and act like don't expect them to act different whenever you say that. I will say for like the
That's
voice
wild.
stuff, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I think the guy just said he's stepping away from doing the podcast. And I actually don't think that's even because of, like, I don't think this is entirely because of the Sneeko shit. I think it's also because that one weirdo guy was on the podcast, and there's been a lot of clips of him recently that have gotten traction where he says stuff that's, like, problematic in one way or another. So I think that him trying to move away from the podcast is probably a good idea. Okay, yeah, right? And so I think that's what's really going on. Troy made a video earlier today, he's 100% staying. Yeah, he's not leaving the internet. He's not quitting the internet. He's just simply he's not doing this podcast anymore. And that's a smart idea. Why are they saying it's from a Sneeko debate? Because those are the two things that people probably know the most about. And so it's like, causation, like there's two things that happen. People assume it's one cause the other. It's just how people are. Yeah, the terrible take. Trying to reverse it is what's weird, but makes sense why I would take a break. I think the more that you talk about, and this is the issue, right, is that, like, for me, I have this happen a lot, because the more that you talk about hot button issues and, like, really intense issues, the higher the probability is that you're going to be, on the wrong side of what most people think, which, again, doesn't make you wrong. Like, just because you say something and most people think that you're wrong, that doesn't make you wrong. However, you say, who cares? It's easy to say, who cares, when you've never been the target of harassment from, like, thousands or tens of thousands of people, everybody farming you, fucking hating you, like, messaging you, sending your, bro, his take was wrong. What I'm saying is that even if he doesn't think it was wrong, that's not the point, right? That's not the point. Like, you gotta think beyond that. Like, what matters is not the truth. What matters is how the truth is seen. And if people think that you're wrong, then in a lot of cases, you're wrong. So that's it. Is that it was hyperbole? Yeah, sure. But anyway, what I'm really trying to get at with this is that it is very exhausting. I know it is for me too. When you go on Twitter and there's like constantly people that are like harassing you, calling you fucking stupid, saying you're a terrible person, and like all these like really, really crazy things, right? And it's not something that, I think that the more you make content and the more you do stuff, the less it bothers you. But it's also something that takes a long time to become acclimated to, where you're not very, like, stressed out from it, and you're not very bothered from it. Because for me, like, it used to bother me a lot more than it does now. Like, now, if something bad happens, I just don't really give a fuck, and it's like I just keep moving on, and it doesn't make a difference. So, yeah, but I thought you would be immune from now. Well, I mean, it's not that I'm necessarily immune to it or not immune to it. It's just that when I see something like that, I don't necessarily view it as, like, I don't take it as seriously anymore, right? Who cares what he thinks about trans issues that much? Is a YouTuber? Can't you just ignore it? Exactly. You ever get death threats? Of course, people threaten to kill me all the time. Like, what is this? This isn't some kind of surprise. Yeah, if you don't like somebody, you're gonna want to kill them. Like, I mean, really? If there's a million people that don't like you, one of them is gonna say they're gonna kill you. Of course. Yeah, it's not a surprise all the time.
Yeah, I haven't had death
So
threats.
that's just what happens. And again, everybody is gonna get death threats. That's heartbreaking. You get death threats? No, it's not. Who cares? Like, listen, if somebody's gonna kill you, they're gonna do it, and that's just the way it is. Like, I'm not gonna sit around and worry about this and think about this and get stressed out about it. That's just the way it is. And I like the logic. Yeah. I mean, even except example, Trump get death threats. Everybody gets anybody who has an opinion or puts themselves out there or is known will get threatened, or people will hate them. You know, that's it. That's why you have a gun. No, it doesn't matter. If somebody just wait for somebody to turn around and shoot him in the back of the head. Like, it's not like they're gonna draw down on you like it's a fucking like a Western. They're just gonna wait for you to walk somewhere and then shoot you randomly. You're not gonna be able to react to that. If somebody wants to kill you, they're gonna do it. Like, it's just that's just the truth, right? It's just the truth. That's the way it is. And you can cry about this and get upset about it, but that's how it is. I challenge you. Yeah, this isn't a duel. I'm just gonna wait for that to happen. Anyway, yeah, I think it can be exhausting dealing with that, and you see a lot of stuff. And I think also, like, right now, like, on the internet, people are very cancel hungry. Everybody is looking to cancel somebody new. They're looking to find a new reason to drag somebody down or get mad at somebody, and that stuff can only hurt you if you let it hurt you. Because at the end of the day, if you make content, like, think about the amount of controversies that I've been through and the amount of people that hate me, and it doesn't matter because I just keep making content and I keep making videos. The only way you can lose is if you stop, because there are going to be people out there that agree with you and they think that you're right. So if you go and you try to fight this and do all of it, and also you will never agree with people either. Or sorry, you'll never get people to agree with you either, because even if you think that you're right with every fiber of your being, that doesn't mean that anybody else has to consider that you're right.
All right, I think I'm gonna call it there. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts were on this whole Dr. Disrespect and Moist Critical situation. I'm kind of on the fence about the doc situation, the Moist Critical thing. I mean, what can you do? The guy said what he said. He decided to take a hiatus. Not much more to say. The doc situation, again, I'm still on the fence about it. I'd like to see him come back, but I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for that, but it is what it is. But until next time, I'll hope to see you guys Friday. See ya.